Well, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Canny Nana, and today I have a really special recipe direct from my mom's recipes that I dug out. This is a version of baked ziti, except I'm going to be using penne. I like penne pasta much better than I do ziti because it grabs the sauce and it holds on to it much better. I'll show you guys the difference. Well, I don't have any ziti, but I will show you. I'll tell you the difference in just a little bit. Stay tuned because I know everybody has a ton of tomatoes right now, and I do too, and I'm going to be making fresh sauce. I will link how to make tomato sauce with fresh sauce to this video, but I'm going to be using my San Marzanos in this video, and I have a link for that as well because I've showed you guys that a lot of times. This is my go-to. These are just regular peeled tomatoes. That's all that's in there. And I just add my Italian seasoning to it, some garlic, some salt and pepper, and that's it. Pure tomatoes. So you can do the same thing with your fresh garden tomatoes. If you've gone tomato picking like I normally do and buy hundreds and hundreds of pounds and can them, if you have canned plum tomatoes, canned Roma tomatoes, you can do this recipe with all of those, and fresh tomatoes as well. Roma tomatoes are on sale everywhere right now, and this is a great recipe to use them in. So we are going to be using some ricotta cheese, some mozzarella cheese, some Parmesan Reggiano cheese, and some onions, and I have a shallot, so I'm going to add this because shallots are a little bit sweeter than onions, and I want it to be a little bit sweeter. The recipe calls for either Italian sausage or ground beef. So I am defrosting sausage. I have some hot Italian sausage, and I'm going to be using that because it gives it a much sweeter and robust flavor, and I really, really like that. So we are going to be using that, and we're going to show you what we're doing. So stay tuned. Okay, first things first, we want to boil water for our pasta and put about 2 tablespoons of salt in there. I know it sounds like a lot, but trust me, it is not. We are going to be using a pound of the penne ricotta pasta. And for any pasta that you're doing, you want to put at least 2 tablespoons in your water to salt your pasta. It's going to give it really good flavor. It's going to make it become al dente faster, and it's going to hold on to your sauce better. So trust me on this one. Okay, we're going to add all of the pasta to the salt water. Okay, here is our pasta. We are just going to stir. We're going to leave it in there until it's al dente. Do not overcook this because it's going to be put in the oven, and you don't want to overcook it. You don't want your pasta to be really flimsy when it comes out. You want it to be cooked and absorbing all of that sauce. So it's going to still cook in the oven. So just cook it al dente, which means to the tube. So you don't want, you want it to be a little bit hard, a little bit, not cooked all the way through. That's how you want it. Okay, we're going to come over here to the sausage, and what I do is I just, with a knife, just slice them straight down like that. Open it up and take out all that meat and then saute it just like you would ground beef. Super, super easy. Okay, here we have our Italian sausage, and we are just going to cook it, smash it down like this. As it cooks into pieces, you just want pieces of this. Okay, so I'm going to finish cooking this, and then we'll be back. Okay, here is our sausage coming along really good, and our pasta is done, so I'm going to take it out of the water and drain it. Okay, our pasta is drained, and here is our sausage coming along nicely. So we are going to finish this and then set this aside, and I will show you why in a few minutes, especially if you're making fresh tomato sauce. Okay, so our sausage pan is still on low, and all the sausage is out in a cup. You want to put your sausage aside, or your ground beef, whatever you're using, and there is a reason to this. Okay, so we're going to add our shallots to the pan with a little bit of olive oil. Okay, we've added our shallots to the pan, and we are just going to saute those until it's translucent, and it's not going to take long at all. I'm going to go cut some fresh garlic because everything in this recipe, I know I'm using canned tomatoes, but I want everything in this recipe to be as fresh as can be, so I'm not using my stored refrigerated garlic. I'm going to use fresh garlic for this recipe. Okay, so I've just taken 2 cloves, well, kind of 1.5 cloves of garlic. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator, and I'm going to use my 20-year-old Pampered Chef gadget. I don't even know if they still sell these, but they are so cool if they do. I don't have any, well, I have a little bit of new Pampered Chef stuff, so I'm just going to put those in there, and all you do is, whoops, can't do this one-handed, you guys. Yep, you guessed it, didn't use my my stand again. Okay, so it comes out the other end like that, and then you just take it off. It all comes out. Let's show it. I can't do it. I can't do it one-handed. Okay, so when it comes out, the paint is all off of this. It's over 20 years old. It's like 20, oh my gosh, it's probably 25 years old. It's really old. You push it all out, and then you get a little bit like that, and then you just kind of knife it off. So I'm going to put that out, put it in a little dish, and set it aside. Okay, you guys, here is the garlic. Came out super, super easy. I just couldn't do it with just one hand. I know, really terrible, but my wrists still do not work. So just to show you guys, I promise I will use my gimbal on my next video, and my stand, and get myself in the video even, because I haven't been on a video in a while. So anyway, so here's the garlic. My tomatoes are sitting here, and we're going to squeeze those into the sauce, or into the pan, and make our sauce out of these tomatoes right here. And it's going to be absolutely delicious with that. And then all of this cheese. All of this added. Going to be super, super awesome. Okay, we have our garlic here and our shallots here. We're going to add our garlic, and we're just going to saute it really, really quickly. We do not want to burn the garlic. Worst thing ever is to burn garlic, you guys. Just saute it, because we're going to add our tomatoes right away. Okay, just want to show you right here. I saved a little bit of the pasta water as a just in case our sauce gets a little bit too thick, in case we need to thin it down. You always save some pasta water. And in case your pasta gets too dry, because it's sitting here, right here, and I have not put any olive oil on it, and that's for a reason, because we want to put, it's going to be in the oven, right? But it's not sticking. We want the sauce to adhere to the pasta. So the difference between penne and ziti, same shape, but the penne have little ridges on them. I don't know if you guys can see that. You see the little ridges on here? That holds the pasta in. So if you like the pasta on the sauce on the pasta to hold on to it, it's easier to get it to the right consistency making the penne pasta than it is the ziti. Comes out better, in my opinion. Tastes really good. I mean, tastes the same. It's exactly the same recipe. But I like the penne because of the ridges. Okay, here is our garlic and our shallots, and we're going to add the sauce now, or the tomatoes. We're going to just squeeze those over and make homemade tomato sauce. Okay, here's our tomatoes. We're going to make this into tomato sauce. So I'm not going to squeeze it with my hands today because, like I said, I have wrist problems. So I'm going to use this handy gadget from Pampered Chef. I don't know what it's called. I'm sure one of you guys will let me know what it's called. It's for ground beef, but it works perfectly on tomatoes. And you want to be really careful when you do this because they do squirt up at you. But it is absolutely perfect for this. And yes, I am using a cast iron pan. I know I get a lot of flack for using cast iron pans with my tomatoes. You guys, I love cast iron pans. They are absolutely wonderful. They heat evenly. I have a brand new set of Cuisinart in a box that my husband bought me that I haven't opened yet because I love these things. They are 80 years old or more, and they are just the best. Absolutely love them. I know I've gotten a lot of flack about iron and all of that. It gives the sauce a really good flavor. Really doesn't change the flavor between this and using a stainless steel pot, in my opinion. And it's just easier for me. They are heavy. My husband washes them and then leaves them on the stove for me because I cook so often with them. So some of them don't even get put away. They just sit on our stove. That's where they go. See how easy that was? Look at that. This is the perfect gadget too for fresh tomatoes. Just so easy. You don't want to use a, oh my gosh, Cuisinart. I had to go look at what mine was. An immersion blender. You don't want to do that because you want chunks of tomato in this. If you're making fresh sauce to can, I even just smash them in, you know, like this, or I use my KitchenAid strainer, or use the Cuisinart. But the best thing I think I just usually use is my hands, and I squeeze the Roma tomatoes or the San Marzano, whatever I have, and it just comes out really good with pieces of tomato. I love the pieces of tomato in my sauce. What about you guys? What do you guys prefer? Do you prefer pieces of tomato or a clean, smooth sauce? Okay, so we're gonna let that simmer. I'm gonna add some pepper, my famous Watkins pepper. Link is in the description box. Gosh, you know what? Surprisingly, I just had 6 people join my Watkins team. And I don't promote that very often, but I use all the products, and I have for 40 years, you guys. It's been 40 years. My daughter's going to be 40 years old, and I started using that when I was pregnant with her. So yeah, it's been 40 years since I've been using Watkins. Long time. But they're really, really quality products. They're amazing. And the pepper, once you try this pepper, you will never go back. This pepper is awesome, and the best thing about it, it's a no sneeze pepper. You can sniff this all you want. Try it. I dare you. It will not make you sneeze. Any other pepper will make you sneeze, except for Watkins. Doesn't make you sneeze. Yep, very true. It's the no sneeze pepper. So if you guys have a problem like me with pepper, you might want to try this. Okay, so salt. I use either regular salt or this is pink Himalayan salt that I have in my little container. This is what I sell my Italian seasoning into, is that size container. And I'm going to put that in next. Okay, this is my Italian seasoning. Well, what I use in the kitchen anyway. So I'm going to put a little bit in there. And then just mix it up. Okay, how to find my spoon. So we are just going to let this simmer, mix all of the seasonings up in there. This is so easy to put together, you guys, and honestly, my husband's been homesick all day, and I was out for a bit. I wanted to make something really easy to put together, and it's taken me a little bit longer because I'm filming, but really it takes about 20 to 25 minutes to put this together and get in the oven, and then you cook it for about 40 minutes in the oven. So super, super easy dinner. Very, very easy to do, very simple, not expensive. Just, you know, especially if you're growing your own tomatoes, this is the perfect recipe to use your fresh tomatoes with. It is perfect. And you can use this sauce right here in anything. This is classic pasta sauce. This is what I show you guys normally, with a little bit of a twist with the onions. But you just want to cook it down until it gets thick. You get all the water out of it, or most of the water. Just cook it down until it's as thick as you want it. And for this dish, you want it pretty thick. Turn this down a little bit, because you want it to stick to the pasta. So we are going to be adding, let's turn it down a little bit more. We're going to be adding some ricotta mixture to this. That's going to have some mozzarella cheese and some Parmesan Reggiano that you guys saw in the beginning picture. And we're going to use an egg. I forgot to put the eggs out there. We're going to be using 2 eggs. Add 2 eggs to this as well. So that is going to be next. So as this is simmering, let's get that together. Okay, so here's our sauce, and it's simmering. So we don't want to forget our meat. We're going to add this to the meat to make a meat sauce. And we are just going to stir this in and let that all simmer in there. Let the flavors combine. This is going to be amazing. So I cooked it down just a little bit, and it's all going to just cook in there with the meat so that the meat flavors the sauce. So we have a good meat sauce. And like I said, you can use turkey in this. You can use sausage. This is hot Italian sausage. And this was frozen. It was fresh frozen. I bought this, this handmade Italian sausage at a Sprouts here. A Sprouts store. It's like a Whole Food store. It's kind of like a health food store. They make their own really, really good sausage. But you can make turkey, you can make ground beef. If you use a ground beef, use a very lean ground beef because you don't want it really fatty. But it's just going to flavor the sauce. And then let it simmer. Okay, let's go make our ricotta cheese mixture. Okay, I've opened one of the ricotta cheeses, and I have this other one. This I'm using Miceli's. It's a whole milk ricotta cheese. It's a very, very good whole brand. And you want the best ricotta cheese that you can. I always use the best I can get. It's not watery, it's very dry. We're just going to put this into our bowl. It looks dry, it's not dry to the taste, but that's what you want. Soon I'm going to be making cannolis, and this is the brand to go with, you guys. If you know your brands of Italian ricotta, there's a lot in the store, like I want to say Kraft, but I'm not sure if it's Kraft or not. Miceli's is one of the good, best ones you can get. It even says award winner on here. But it's one I've used for years when I can find it. I can't always find it. So I have 2 eggs, and these are brown. These are eggs from Vital Farms. They are from a local farm. They are the best eggs, you guys. Best, best, best. Okay, so let's put all of this in here. Okay, so that's what it should look like. They should come out whole right out of the container, looking like that. That's the kind of ricotta cheese that you want. Nice, firm ricotta cheese. Okay, so to this, and don't worry, I'm going to add all of the ingredients into the description box, and then you guys can just follow the instructions on here. So to this, we're going to add to it 2 eggs, some Italian seasoning, a cup of mozzarella, a cup of Parmesan cheese, and a secret ingredient that you will never guess until I use it. Okay, so I have fluffed up the ricotta cheese. I've added the Italian seasoning. I am going to add the eggs next. Okay, there's the eggs. Okay, and we are just going to mix it up again using this Pampered Chef tool. And I'm just going to combine all of this until it's all combined with the eggs, the ricotta cheese, and then I'm going to start adding the mozzarella and the Parmesan. We have a cup of mozzarella and a cup of Parmesan right here. Okay, so this is what your ricotta cheese should look like after you're done putting the eggs in it and your Italian seasoning. So let me just say, the mixture I'm making right here with the ricotta cheese, the Italian seasoning, the eggs, the Parmesan, and the Parmesan and the mozzarella cheese. This is the same mixture if you want to make manicotti, or manicotti as Americans call it, or stuffed shells. This is the same exact mixture that you would use for those. So this is the same recipe if you guys want to make any of those. And I'm going to be making stuffed shells really soon. This is the exact same recipe I'm going to be using, you guys. Okay, so let's add the cheese. We're going to add the mozzarella. If it comes out, it might need a little bit of help. And the parm. I don't think I'm going to add exactly that much. Take a little bit out of there. Okay. Okay, and then we're just going to mix this in. I've got my spoon now, so we're just going to mix it in until it's all mixed in, and I'll bring you back. Okay, and there we have it. Super, super easy to mix in. I know it seemed like it was a lot, but it just mixes right into the ricotta cheese, and super easy. Okay, here we have our sauce. We have our pasta. Okay, mixture, and we have our pan right here. I'm just using a regular Pyrex dish, and I know every time I use this pan, somebody says, "Oh, I see Grant in there." Yes, you do. You do see Grant. Somebody at church made this. Well, we bought the pan, but they put our name on it. They had cricket. There you can see it better there. Probably about 15 years ago, a long time ago. because we used to take this to all kinds of potluck dinners, potluck brunches and stuff like that at church. And we did that with all of everybody's dishes so that they wouldn't get lost because everybody brought dishes. So really cool idea if you have a Cricut. Okay, let's get started assembling. Okay, so I have done what my mom calls priming the pan. Excuse me. So what you want to do is just put a little bit of sauce on the bottom and spread it all around, getting it all on the bottom of your pan before you put any of your layers on. Same process that you would do if you were making lasagna. You do the exact same thing, or manicotti, or even shells. You want to do the same thing because all of those pastas get baked. So instead of it sticking to the bottom of the pan, you want it to have a nice layer of sauce to begin with. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start to layers. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take, I'm using my hands, yes, using my hands. I'm going to take a handful of the pasta and we're just going to lay it in the baking pan. It is so much easier for me to do this with my hands, especially since my hands don't work correctly, and then use a spoon to just kind of spread it out. And you want to just put half of the pasta in the bottom and save the other half for the next layer. Oops. And you guys will see what I'm doing in just a second. And wash your hands in between because all of that starch gets all over your hands. Okay, so we've got the pasta here, or the pasta here, the sauce here. Brought this over the pan over so that I could just dollop some of the sauce here without taking it off of the stove because that's really heavy for me. So do whatever you guys works best for you guys. So you want to put about half of the sauce on top of your pasta. And all you're going to do is just spread it like that. Make sure you get all the meat in there. And I think that's about half. Okay. And then we're just going to spread it around so it's a little bit more even. And I'll get back to you. Okay, so done with that. That's how it should look when we're done. Okay, now let's bring it back over to the other side of the kitchen. Okay, so here's our pan. And here is our ricotta mixture. So we are just going to take a little bit and dollop some on here. You're going to put about half of the mixture on here. And just put, I usually put about 6 of this, like a double tablespoon size. So you want to use half of this mixture and you're going to do the same thing. So in order to smooth it a little bit better, get the back of your spoon a little bit hot and then smooth it out like that. And you're going to do that for the whole pan. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so this is what it looks like here. So I'm going to tell you now what the secret ingredient is because it's in the ricotta cheese. Secret ingredient? Can anybody guess? Ground nutmeg. Yep, ground nutmeg. You only use a little bit and the amount will be in the description in the recipe. Ground nutmeg. Brings out the flavor of the ricotta cheese like you would not believe. So good. So the word of the day today for this video is going to be nutmeg. Not pasta, not ziti, not baked pasta or anything. It's going to be nutmeg. So hopefully you've watched this far and make sure that you comment the word of the day. Make sure that you're subscribed and like the video because it really helps our YouTube algorithm. You must be subscribed to win, and we'll be giving away some of my Italian seasoning, you guys. Italian seasoning. So a smaller container than this. This is my personal one, but you'll get plenty of Italian seasoning. So comment the word of the day, nutmeg. Okay, so now that this is done, we are going to redo the layers, doing the pasta, the sauce, the ricotta cheese, and then we're going to add our remaining mozzarella. Okay, so noodles, then we're going to add sauce. Okay, so there is the sauce. We're going to add the rest of the ricotta on top of it. Okay, again, in just dollops, just like that, and then spread it around. Okay, I know that it looks like it's coming to the brim of the dish, and it almost is. But we are just going to sprinkle, if we can, this has been sitting here a while, our mozzarella cheese. Sprinkle what I can. Put that, spread it all across the top. Okay, that's what it should look like, covered. And I'm going to add, I did save a little bit of Parmesan, so I'm just going to sprinkle some Parmesan on the top here, just a little bit, and then I'm going to save some to put on if we want after it's all done. Okay, so this is so full, and that's how it's supposed to be, you guys. We're going to put this on a cookie sheet and put it in the oven. The oven has been preheating at 350 degrees. Okay, so it's on top of a cookie sheet, and yes, as you can guess, this probably weighs over 10 pounds very easily. So this dish can be frozen. You can make it ahead of time. You can make it in smaller dishes. This is in a, I want to say 20-inch. I don't know the exact measurements. This is one of my biggest Pyrex dishes that I have. But you can make it in smaller ones. You can do, it's perfect for church potlucks, brunches, whatever. But it is great to make ahead. You can make it just like this, pop it in your refrigerator, stick it in there, make sure you cover it, and it will stay up to 3 days until you cook it. And then you can save the leftovers, or you can freeze it this way, or you can cook it and freeze it. So it is fantastic. So yes, this is a massive amount. This would probably feed about 10 people. And I'm going to be putting it in smaller portion containers and freezing it. So this is going to be a lot of meals for us, plenty of meals. And all it took is probably 30 minutes to put it together in actuality, but I'm filming, so it probably took me double that. But about 30 minutes, and then about 40 minutes in the oven. And then you want to, we're going to cover it and bake it in the oven about 40 minutes. You want it as a temperature of about 160 degrees. And that's it. Okay, and there it is in our oven, covered. Okay, so I have a little bit more of the mozzarella cheese that I made because I'm going to put a little bit more on there. So as a variation, you can leave off the mozzarella off of the top and cover it, put it in the oven, and when it comes out, after it reads about 160, you can put the remaining mozzarella on top of it and uncover, and then bake it about, about maybe 8 to 10 minutes longer, just until cheese is melted, and let it stand. Take it out of the oven, let it stand about 15 minutes before serving. Really, really important, because that is going to really set all your flavors, set the pasta and everything, and it'll be delicious. Okay, so let's get it cooking, and I'll be back when it's done. Okay, you guys, so this is what it looks like when you take it out. It has been sitting for about 15 minutes, so we're going to cut it and put it on a plate. Okay, we are going to cut this. Oh, this looks so good. It smells so good. And yes, we had it on a pan that nothing spilled over. I didn't think it would, but it was a just in case. Okay, we are going to put this in here, just like that. Kind of fell apart on me. There we go, you guys. Okay. So there is the finished product, and it kind of fell apart in here, and it, it does and it doesn't. It just depends on how long you let it sit. Ours sat about 10 minutes. Probably should be sitting about another 5 minutes or so. But here you go. That's what it looks like, and that is what it looks like on the plate. It is absolutely delicious. So if you guys have never tried this before, please go and try this. I'm gonna taste it. Oh my gosh. So this is like Cheater's lasagna. It's so much easier to put together than lasagna and so much more delicious. Let's taste it. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh my God, that is so good. Oh wow. So I can totally taste the fresh tomatoes, the Italian seasoning. Oh my gosh, that is so good. That is so good. The mozzarella cheese, the Parmesan Reggiano. Oh my God, that is so good. Okay. I have to go serve my husband, you guys. I really do. This is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. You have to try this. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna try this. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh my gosh. So I haven't made this in years. Really. To my mom's recipe, I have not made this in years. To her exact recipe. And let me tell you, it is so much more worth it when I follow the recipe to her. Wow. So I think I'm going to go through her cookbook and see what I can find and just go through stuff. And wow, this is, oh my God, this is so good. This is so good. I didn't even have a chance to make bread, you guys. It's like 9:30 at night. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm just going to go through her recipe book and post stuff from that. I think, you know, here and there, in between all my other videos. This is really, really good. Her recipes come from her mom that came from Sicily, that came from a small town in Italy. And I will clue you guys into all of that. I did my ancestry last year, about a year ago, and it led me directly to my ancestors, to this specific place in Calabria. And this is where the recipe came from. It came from my grandma, you guys. I mean, it came from my mom, but it came from my grandma, which is so special. So if you guys want to try this, it's really authentic Sicilian food. Oh my gosh. This is what I grew up with. And I know now why I grew up with this, because my mom learned from her mom the recipe for this, and I don't know who she learned it from. I don't know if she learned it from her mom or her grandma. So I'm going to have to delve deeper into that ancestry and see. And so stick around, you guys. Don't forget the word of the day. I'm not going to say it again, you guys. It is in the video. So if you've made it this far, thank you for watching this far. And I hope you subscribe and like the video. And I will see you soon with more videos. Thanks for watching.